So welcome to everyone. This is our monthly webinar from American Association of Bangladeshi Engineers and Architects in collaboration with the Innovative Global University. And this is our architects. So it's a joint in collaboration webinar. It is being live broadcast by the NRV TV, and also some participants are also supposed to be joining us from Dhaka. Given the weather here, I guess we missed most of the California side participants. But anyway, so our program today is all about the IGlobal University and their contribution in academia. And, they can explain to you a lot better than I am. So our first speaker, keynote speaker, is Dr. Hassan Karabakh, President of IGlobal University. And I'm requesting Mr. Kazi Bari to give a little intro about Dr. Bart. Kazi.
Thank you, sir. So Dr. Hassan Karabakh proposed more than a quarter-century industrial academic industry experience, both in public and private sector. For the last 20 years, he has been working in the higher education arena and has held executive position at various private institutes, and he has among the founding member of 3 accredited college and university in the Washington DC area. Regulatory compliance, accreditation, license, industrial assessment, statistic planning are among his focus. Dr. Hassan is an experienced higher educational executive with a proven track record of history of working in higher education industry. Experience, compliance and regulatory affairs, statistic planning, educational technology.
Recording in progress.
Industrial design, implementation, evaluation, and team building experience, strong business development professionals with a doctor of educational degree, focusing on higher education and higher education in administration from Northeastern University.
Dr. Bart.
All right, thanks, Kazi. Thank you, Dr. Ennis, for this opportunity. Let me try to share my screen so that I know we have, my slide is 15 minutes, but in Mr. Hanif's absence, I think I can take a few Q&A. Well, again, my name is Hassan. I'm the president of IGlobal University. Let me tell you before I start with my presentation, let me tell you in a nutshell who we are, what is our founder mission, and then what is in general IG's contribution to the overall higher education in America. IG is a small but family-like career university. We treat our student not just as a number or dollar sign. We look at our student as a meaningful member of our community. So therefore, if you look at our slogan or motto, we say one student at a time. So we take each student as a unique individual, which is true. Each student, at the end of the day, it's a different creature of God, and they come with different skill, different background, and each of those skills and background, whatever, need to be groomed properly so that these students can join meaningfully to the society and produce something. Either if they choose to stay in America, or if they take something back to their home country. And I think that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give them certain skills that not only they're going to use those skills during their academic or industrial profession side, but also personally take something from us. So I think being a small school, that is imperative on us to consider every single student as a member of the larger family. Therefore, we have what we call this 360-degree view on our student. When student joins to our system, from application to admission to registration, and all the way to the academic journey and to the graduation, we look at totality of the student progress. And then along the way, there are different departments. It's like what do you call this? The ship in the dock. The small ship needs to help the ship to navigate through the narrow waterways. Similar to that, when a student joins our system, in our system along the way, there are different units of the university gets into the action port and then help student. So not only that we academically track student, but also we look at their professional background. I'll come to that later. So basically we'll look at student, what we call in America, total body or whole student. So we'll look at academic as well as social well-being so that these students can become meaningful contributor to the society or to the industry that they will later join. So again, I think the burden comes from the principle that we are essentially a career-focused university. So we're not a research institution. Our focus is career. So we educate students for the immediate job availability. That's our niche. That's what we like to do. Therefore, we try our best to offer popular programs, the programs that has future opportunity, not the programs dying down, but programs coming up. And then we smell the market and we look at emerging patterns. Therefore, we have different institutions, different committees within institution. For example, one of the committee we have called Program Advisory Committee in both School of Information Technology and School of Business Administration. These are the venues, these are the tools that will listen industry. We get meaningful feedback from industry about emerging trends. Accordingly, then we go back to our kitchen, our curriculum review committee with the directors of each school under their leadership. They go back to design process and do shop design again. They revise the curriculum, come up with a better one so that we still become what we call relevant. We have to be the relevant with the emerging industry. So I think to summarize, we're a small school. We're located in Tyson's, one of the, what do you call this, the top industrially developing area. I think in Northern Virginia, Tyson's area is one of the top locations. The school has been operating for the last 14 years, and then we are accredited, and the school has been certified by the Virginia State since its inception, so there's no hiccups in the history of the university. Recently, school changed the ownership. That's where Mr. Hanif and Mrs. Hanif got into the picture, and now they have the full control of the university. So that's where we are. I think I'll take Q&A at the end, but I'd like to go ahead and start my very quick presentation. So today I'll go over the overall education market in the United States. Again, when I say education market, my focus is not going to be domestic market. My focus will be the market generated by this international student. And then I'll talk about IGU's model, and then I will share some of the future impact statement. If we look at the global wealth outlook, today, 55 cents of every dollar generated, it's owned by 1% of world adults. Look at this figure. So in other words, 1 million people, considering the world population, 1 million people, roughly 1 million, owns 45% of the, or let's round the number to 46. So 46% of the global wealth is owned only by 1 million people, which is 1.1% of the world population. 39% of the global wealth is owned by 11% of the world adults. And 13.7% of the world wealth is owned by 32, and only 1.3% of the global wealth is owned by 55% of the entire population. So look at disparity, look at the income disequality. So one way to shrink or create a economic, shared economic wealth, and then create the income equality, unless you're extremely genius like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs and you become entrepreneur, you're outliers, statistically speaking. But as long as you belong into the, middle class, education is number one tool to socially, economically, financially elevate your social level position. So if we look at this number, almost 46% of the global wealth is owned by only 1.1% of the population. This is a huge disparity. So the cure of this sickness is definitely education. Unless, as I said, if you have some entrepreneurial skill and if you become a businessman, maybe you're statistically, you don't belong to this group, but as long as you're like me, fitting into the middle class definition, the only cure, well, there might be different cure, but it depends on your social welfare, but academic welfare is number one tool to, update your level, go to the next level instead of fitting into the 32% or 11% or even 55%. So today, as of 2019, before the pandemic hit, the education market in the US was $1.5 trillion. So with that projection, we were hoping that by 2025, the total market would hit $1.9 trillion. Obviously, with the COVID and pandemic, we've been going through this for the last 2 years almost. Today is January, almost 2 years. So for the last 24 months, the whole humanity has been hampered, slammed by this COVID. So future is still unknown and not as clear as we would otherwise be projecting back in 2019. But something is promising. When I recently look at the outdoor, open door statistic, open door actually is the branch of the federal government. It's called IIE, is Institute of International Education. That's an official branch of US government. So according to their statistic, if you look at the last, 5-6 years, still the number is growing except the year 2021. So in 2021, you will see in 2017-18, we had 1,094,000 students, but in 1.75, but 2021, it dropped down to 914,000 students. So still the international student, let me see if I can use this, this annotation thing. Anyway, I'm not good at the Zoom. Anyway, so if you look at the first graph up there, you will see that in 19 and 20, we had 1,075,000 students came to America, international student. But in 2021, that number dropped down to 914,000. So we're talking about 4.8% net drop. Of course, again, we can relate that drop to the COVID and borders closed, whatever, but we're hoping that this trend will reverse soon as this Omicron disappears. On the right bottom, you will see the countries that traditionally sending students to America. China is still number one, almost 34% of all new students. 34%. That's a big number. You have to put that in a perspective. So almost one out of 3 students, one student, almost all those international, I'm talking about international student, out of 3, 1 student is coming from China. So that's a huge number. The second one is in India. If you look at there, as of today, 2021, we have 67,000 students. So that's an 18% of the total international student population. South Korea 4.3, Canada 2.8, Saudi Arabia, and goes all the way down. And I picked up all the way down to Bangladesh. Bangladesh is 0.9. Bangladesh, we'll probably get to that a little later, but IG is very blessed as far as the Bangladeshi population goes, because our boss, the owner, is from Bangladesh. So we have a big buzz in Bangladesh, and we recently picked up a lot of students coming from Bangladesh. So That certainly changed the dynamic. But as you can see, international student trend in America for the last 5 years has been increasing, except the pandemic. But I'm hoping that after the pandemic, it will get back to the previous trend. If we look at the next slide, I'm looking at the economic outlook. Like as I said, I'm not looking at the U.S. domestic education. I'm looking at international education in America, international student education in America, and their contribution to American economy. So as of 2020, again, I'm getting these numbers from opendata.org. That's also part of the IIE, International Institute of International Education. So it's, again, this is the federal government I'm quoting these numbers from. The total contribution in 2020, this international education market that contributed $39 billion to the U.S. economy. That's not an understatement. That's a huge number, considering all those supplementary services, supporting services. We're talking about books, libraries, transportations and health insurance and accommodation, car insurance, whatever. So when you're talking about education, international education, these students, if you look at here, I'll show you their primary source of income, the funding. They're self-funded. In other words, they're being paid, but they're being sponsored by their parents. They're not getting big amount of money from federal government, whatever. Well, some do. But if you look at the number in 2020-21, as far as the source of funding goes, personal and family funds, about 54%. So 54% of international students, they're coming to the United States, they're using their own cash money. They're using their own personal money or their parents' money or the family money. So in other words, they're bringing huge infusion of cash to the country. And then where does this cash go? Of course, it goes to school as the tuition fees, and then they buy cars, they rent homes, they go on vacation, they have all other things, right? So this $39 billion, I think, I didn't look at I didn't dive deep into this number, but in my assessment, that's a direct tuition fee collected by the universities. So collectively, this number of international students, they created, in 2020, they created about 415,000 jobs in the United States. So that's a big number. It's not a small number that we can say, well, it's one of the economy source. No, we're talking about billions of dollars. So in America, we have about 4,000 U.S. colleges and universities in America. So what happens is that, number one, if I did this study a little bit, I compared the student coming to America and then students choosing to go to Canada or Great Britain. Many students, they choose Britain to learn to learn language. So the difference between America and London or Great Britain is that those who want to learn English, they choose to go to London. Those who want to do academic degree, want to pursue a different career, change their career, professional, whatever, they choose to come to America. So that's the basic difference as far as the numbers go. When I look at these numbers from opendata.org, that's what I see. Students interested in learning language, they go to Great Britain. Students interested in pursuing advanced degrees, they come to America, because one of the reasons they come to America is because we have, in American colleges, universities, we have a nice infrastructure, nice lab, a lot of hands-on tools, and also most of the universities, by the regulation or by the mission, they have to teach to the industry. So all those universities, whether private or public universities, both universities, they partner with the public and private entities. So their focus, again, it doesn't matter whether you're a research institution or education institution, still your one eye is on the industry. You're trying to look at the trends in the industry and prepare your student according to tomorrow's challenge. So what happens is that in America, we have this entrepreneurial spirit. So that entrepreneurial spirit is the driving force of these private universities. As we say in America, 90% of the economy is coming from small businesses, right? I see Dr. Robinson here, he can correct me. So we say the engine of US economy is those small businesses. Trust me, in my opinion, the engine of the US private colleges, universities, or the US in general, the US educations are the small private colleges and universities. Why? Because we had this conversation, I think, a few weeks ago with another group of students. As a private school, you don't have the luxury to fail. You have to be successful. You don't have a huge pile of cash sitting behind. You don't have state funds behind. You don't have federal funds behind. You don't have big pocket guys waiting behind, supporting you. So as a private school, you have to be successful. Otherwise, you will fail and then you will disappear. So we're not like George Mason. We're not like other state or the big universities. There are some big Ivy League universities. Their endowment funds is as large as some of the the revenues of the countries in the world. That's certainly out of our discussion. But small schools like us, to be able to survive, we have to be successful. So what is the measure of success? In our school, we use two metrics. One is retention, student retention. The other is placement. Are we able to retain students? So retention comes with what? Listening student, caring to his or her needs, meeting their needs timely, supporting them academically, socially, or otherwise before they fell into the cracks, right? So we do everything to retain student. And retaining student also in the classroom means engaging student meaningfully. So our directors, Dr. Robinson, I see him here, Dr. Robinson and his team, all those faculty members, they're working very hard to engage students, to find out some learning tools, some resources, so the student will engage in some project. It could be portfolio management, it could be whatever. So they're working so hard to analyze the industry, use those tools, bring those tools into the classroom so that when these students graduate, they will say, I used this tool in such subject when I was studying in IGU. So retention is so important for us because if you don't retain the student, you cannot have the standards of quality. So you have to have certain, you have to maintain certain quality. And then to be able to have that certain quality, you have to have meaningful quantity. If you have one student in classroom, teacher will not be motivated to teach. But if you have 20 students in the classroom, man, teacher will fly to teach that quality, right? So quantity retention is important. And then, like I just said, the second metric that we use is the placement. All right, so you teach the student, but at the end, what do you do with the student? So we have career services, and then we have a partner entity owned by the same owner, Mr. Hanif. It's called People and Tech. So when students come to the last quarter in our system, we put students to soft skill or hands-on skill development training through People and Tech. So what happens is that during the last quarter in their studies, we route these students to the People and Tech program. In addition to getting academic or trying to complete academic degree, they also get certain hands-on skill that is required by the industry. So what happens when they graduate, they have both. They have academic pedigree as well as hands-on skill. So when they sit in the interview during that interview, they use the same jargon, they use the same buzzword, they use the same tools, and they talk about same technologies and tools that the guy interviewing, CEO or the human resource manager, whatever, interviewing for, he or she is quite familiar with. So when person sits in front of you, speaks the same language, you say, this is the person that I want, right? So that's the value that we're striving to help student develop. So retaining student is one metric, and placing student after they graduate, placing them on job that they paid for, job that they educated for, not any job. Student graduated with the Master of Information Technology, but you put them, McDonald's or Starbucks as the cashier because student is punching the computer screen. Well, everybody punches on computer screen nowadays. That's not a computer science degree. So therefore, I guess what I'm trying to say is that small universities are the backbone, real engine, the engines of the US education. It's similar to small businesses in my assessment, because that's where the main struggle is coming from. We're the one innovative. We're the one keeping innovating at all times. How can we help our student better? Every staff here, I see Dr. Choi is here, Kazi here, Dr. Robinson, I think we have Dr. Prim too. So every staff member here, we're kind of 24/7 on call. I see Dr. Prim emailing student as late as 3 a.m. in the morning. Dr. Mark emailing me about 10 p.m. Late into the night about student had some issues. So as I said at the beginning, we don't have any luxury to fail. We have to be successful. So that's what motivates us. So if you have to be successful, what you do, you put all your resources into the table, right? And that requires full commitment from Mr. Hanif all the way down to Katya, our front desk officer. Okay, what we'd like to do, we got a bunch of things in our portfolio. I'd like to go over that very quickly. I know I think I exceeded my time. As I said at the very beginning, in a nutshell conversation, in a brief conversation, since inception, school has always been certified by the Virginia State, and we have rock solid accreditation. And then these are the three things that we pride ourselves. We are accredited, we are affordable, and we are accessible. Accreditation is clear, but I like to say a few things about being affordable and accessible. We're affordable is because we offer not only academic merit scholarship, we offer about up to 30% scholarship if you have 4.0 GPA. So we basically incentivize those students who are showing exemplary academic history. And those students are the ones that we love because they're the engine in each classroom. They're the driving force in each classroom, right? So we use these students in oftentimes, and I'll get to that a little later. So we offer academic-based, we call it merit-based scholarship. And also we have 7 different, we call tuition assistant program. For example, let's say you cannot get a visa, come to America, and you want to join our program online while sitting in or doing your business in Bangladesh or India. So we give you up to 70%. If you join our online, 100% online, let's say you're living in West Coast in California, and then you cannot fly, obviously, to East Coast. So you want to pursue degree online, so we give you 50%. So basically, we've got a lot of different programs, depends on the needs and means and ways, and we help students stay financially a little bit afloat, realizing that this COVID, of course, in America, we're lucky because federal government had these stimulus programs and then CARES Act. So all those American students, give or take, they receive something from federal government. But imagine international students, depending on their home country, some countries forget about government supporting these students. In fact, just the opposite. And for example, I heard that in my country, Turkey, government actually asks people to support government. That's just the opposite. So anyway, realizing that this pandemic brought extra financial burden to these international students, so we went extra mile to help these students financially. That's what I mean that by saying we're affordable. We're accessible is because all of our degree programs are also offered 100% online. So you don't, if you're busy or you don't have the financial means to come to America, you can complete all these programs 100% online while sitting in your home country, as long as you meet the admission criteria. Starting very soon, this is something new that Mr. Hanif and I were contemplating. We're thinking about this for a while. IG has now a major milestone. We will soon be moving to our own campus. We'll have our own campus because the numbers are growing. That's a good news. And we're adding more staff. And then we're now jam-packed. The current facility is nowhere even close to being adequate for us. So we maxed out our own facility now. So the decision is made. We're definitely moving out to our own facility. So once we move our own facility to attract domestic students, we'd like to create a program called No Job, No Tuition. So basically, this will be something, in my opinion, will be a game changer because no other university in this area is offering something even close to this. what we mean by no job, no tuition is that, hey, come to us, get your education. All right. Of course, this is for domestic student, not international student. Why? Because international student, they have this visa issues. So some students are not readily employable. So that's something beyond our control. We cannot fix that. So those who don't have visa issue or the work permit problem, for those students who would like to offer this program is that if students come to us, complete the degree, and within 1 year, if as a school, we fail to help student get a job in the field that student is educated or paid money for, we will return that tuition. That's the plan that we're bringing. So basically, this is our comfort level. We are so comfortable with the quality and services we provide at IGU is that we're telling student, hey, within 1 year after you graduate, if as a school we fail to get you a job, a decent job, the job that you are educated for, we will refund your money. So that's how comfortable we are, okay? And that program is coming very soon. And earlier, as I said, we talked about developing soft skills. Okay, in academia, of course, we have certain curriculum, right? Students start with, for example, in all our master's degree, they have 12 courses. So they have to maintain and then make a normal progress towards graduation. Take first class, take second class, take third. So in academia, of course, there are rooms for skill development, but because of the highly structured curriculum, you don't have much flexibility to venture different areas of the skill development. Therefore, what we do is that when students, as I said earlier, get to the final quarter, in our school is in a quarter system, not a semester system. So when I say quarter, basically it's a semester. So when our student get to the final quarter into the degree, we put that student into the skill development training program through our partner institution, People and Tech. So what happens is that during that training period, they use the same tool that industry is using. They use the same methodologies, the same, jargon, same concept, whatever the industry is using. So what happens is that after that 3-4 months of that skill development training, students make better sense of all those academic theories and concept, whatever. They know how to use these things. And then recently, of course, we have 2 schools, School of Business and School of Information Technology. In School of Business, we offer traditional MBA program, and under MBA, we have 6-7 concentration. I forgot how many we had. Also in School of Information Technology, we have Master of Science in Information Technology and then cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a growing, very popular field. If you look at today, go to Indeed.com, I'm sure probably 500,000 jobs being advertised in total America. So the cybersecurity, I think, as far as I know, there are 125 different tracks. Last time I checked, it was 125 different tracks. Can you believe? That's unbelievable. So cybersecurity is generating so and diversified so differently, creating a lot of jobs. Last time I checked, there was 125 different job titles suitable for the cybersecurity experts. So therefore, we're putting some conscious effort on it. We're creating what we call SOC Lab, Security Operations Center Lab. I'm talking to a few vendors out there to give us a proposal. Actually, we received a few proposals, but eventually we will evaluate and then get the project rolling. Dr. Robinson and his team, starting this quarter, he's been long planning. We will have this IG Shark Tank. Again, this is for business student, not only business student, general everybody with any idea, any entrepreneurial skills or any aha moment. I have this idea kind of thing. If anybody has any idea that is worthy to be elevated to the proposal level and then work with the mentor or whatever. So we value this entrepreneurial spirit. Therefore, IG Shark Tank, I'm sure everybody's familiar with the general Shark Tank concept. It's similar to that. We're incentivizing students. We are telling them, hey, think critically and then look at the ways in which you can innovate and become entrepreneur. So this is a formal way of motivating students, incentivizing them to become future entrepreneurs. So what they do, they submit proposal, and Dr. Robinson and his team will evaluate them, and eventually there will be second level and then third level, and the finalists will be given cash award. That's our plan. And then the other thing we'd like to do is that IG incubator. This is where students with a mentor, leadership, or moderator, that they get together and think about different business endeavors in the short term and long term, and looking at not only the business world, but also in the IT world, or even soon we will go into allied health, which is medical. So we are creating a little diverse group there. It's similar to the Shark Tank concept in the School of Business. Our IT School of IT is going to engage in something what I call IG Coding Ninjas. So they will create program to motivate students, to energize students, get involved in coding project. This could be entry-level coding, could be as high level as the Python, whatever. So soon you will hear from our School of Information Technology about some of these coding projects. Like as I said at the very beginning, being a career school, career-oriented school, it is almost imperative for us to know what is going on in the industry. Without knowing what are the emerging trends in the industry, you cannot prepare your student for the placement. It's impossible. So therefore, not only that we have program advisory committee represented by these different fields in the industry, but we also, our faculty members also practitioners. Yes, they're scholars. They have academic pedigree. They have their PhDs in the field. They have years of experience in the teaching field, whatever. But they're also practitioner. Let's say I'm talking about, business communication faculty member. This business communication faculty member preferably has a minimum master's degree, but also this faculty, I am sure, is working in some other company as a consultant, as a product developer, as a communication director, as, marketing director, something. So all of our faculty member, exception might be there, if some faculty member engage in some scholarly work, whatever, but 99% of the time, our faculty members, they're both scholar and practitioner. They're scholar because they have to know the topic. They have to have the appropriate credential, either master's degree or PhD. But they also have to know the things going on in the industry so that they can merge, they can marry the industry with the academia so that our student will have better skills. And then IG in general, of course, speaking of international student, we offer CPT. CPT is actually a very good program. CPT stands for Curricular Practical Training. What it does is that it gives students an opportunity to work while studying. OPT is after the graduation. So when student completes a degree, I'm talking about international student. Remember, international student, they're not readily employable because of their visa. They're here on an F1 visa. If you're here on an F1 visa, you're not readily employable unless some agency grants you an employment authorization. So what happens is that when students graduate, we process, of course, we don't approve. There's an agency under the Department of Homeland Security called CVIS. They approve it, but we process the work permit. It's called OPT, Optional Practical Training. And all those students, especially completed STEM degrees. I'm sure everybody heard about STEM degree, right? STEM degree, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So if student completed, ideally any IT degree qualifies for STEM. So they get up to 3 years work permit in America. It's a big number. 3-year work permit by default. When you finish, let's say, Master of Information Technology or Master of Science in Cybersecurity, whatever, you get up to a 3-year work permit. Of course, OPT is level specific. So if you finish one master degree, then go in out a master degree, then no, you don't get it second time. You just get it one time per level. But again, that 3 years is enough for a person to show his ability so that the company will think, oh, this person is viable, productive enough, let me hire him or her. So 3 year, honestly, for a standard individual, 3 years enough for you to prove yourself to any company, whether you're reliable, viable staff or not, all right? So oftentimes that yields into permanent employment and goes to green card process and so on. And then we have our career placement services. So we groom our students. We don't leave them alone. You know, as they get to the final quarter, we put them through our career services center. We go through their CVs. We help them, you know, polish their CV depending on the jobs, different titles available after the graduation. And then we go through these mock interviews. Of course, right now during the pandemic, we're not able to do some of the things that we used to do. For example, career days and, you know, taking students out to different industries, whatever. We're trying our best to do these things rather virtually now. But in the past, we had these career days. We used to invite these vendors to the school. They used to meet with these potential graduates. And then we have subject matter experts, as I said in the earlier, and then we have program advisory committees and specific to each program. So we have one program advisory committee for School of Business, one program advisory committee. Again, these are external subject matter experts, right? These are external people. They're not on our payroll. They're external experts within the industry. They're coming to us, giving us critical feedback. Hey, cybersecurity is going towards north, but you seem to be going northwest. So what we have to do, we adjust our course of direction, right? So we go with their advisors. And then with the partnership of People and Tech, this is our sort of a model to prepare our students. So basically, at the graduate level, at undergrad level, we're targeting entry-level position. It's inevitable because the focus in undergraduate study in America, basically the focus in undergrad is that you're giving student knowledge and you're expecting that student to learn on the job. But the focus of the graduate study in America is that you're teaching students how to use the knowledge. So remember this Bloom taxonomy? I'm sure those coming from education background, they'll remember Bloom's taxonomy. So we're at the application stage. Graduate studies in America geared towards application stage rather than knowledge acquisition stage. Knowledge acquisition happens at the undergrad level. So therefore, when speaking of our graduate program, we're targeting minimum mid-level jobs. But mid-level job, of course, that will have minimum academic knowledge, but you have to also have industry knowledge. Therefore, People and Tech plays a major role. We partner with People and Tech. They tell us what is going on. They tell us in the what they call this vendor certification requirement. So vendor certification, as you know, it's another buzzword. It's very important to have a few vendor certificates. Otherwise, if you, for example, let's say you're interviewing for a potential security analyst job for Amazon, but if you don't have any Amazon certification in your portfolio, yeah, they may listen to you as a matter of courtesy, but then they'll say thank you, and they will not respond back to you, right? So therefore, it's important for you to have a bunch of at least a few vendor certificates. And then we put them through sub-skill development because that's what the job skills are. And then we'll look at the experience, the totality of the student experience, and sometimes we engage in portfolio. And then, of course, we give them some corporate gist. And then all together, this helps students develop better confidence in himself or herself. And then, again, this is how Mr. Hanif and I contemplated earlier. This is what we're going to have, what we call this workforce planning cycle. So again, what this to do is that when we place student on a job, let's say IG placed one student to a position Amazon headquarters in Arlington. We're not going to leave that student alone. We'll constantly check on our student. We'll say, hey, Joe, how are you doing? Is there anything we can help? Is there any issue that you're struggling, right? So this is called workforce planning cycle. So starting from grooming student to potential jobs, and then including the first day of the job, whatever, constantly listening to these students and gaining feedback, collecting feedback and sharing potential recruiters, right? So when I get a critical feedback from those students already working in the industry, I get feedback from them, and then I come back and share that feedback with my potential graduate seeking similar job. And then because of this model, I believe I wasn't here, so I'm not here to claim that credit. I think Dr. Robinson and his team was doing something unique that attracted some third parties' attention and for the last 2 consecutive years, our project management MBA program has been ranked as the #1 best MBA in project management program in the America by this entity called intelligent.com. So again, I'm nowhere close to claiming the credit. I think credit goes back to Dr. Prim, Dr. Mark, and Dr. Cho, and the other IG leadership. I wasn't here at this time. So as you see, solution, we don't have a magic wand. We don't have a magic, I don't know, what do you call crystal bullet. The solution is we do something everywhere, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. So that's the solution. There's no magic button when you click or push the button, everything, 100% gets back to normal. There's no such thing. So we strive a little bit here, we do a little bit here. Every office, every branch of university, they're doing something in total betterment of our services and the quality. And that's what we see at the end. The recognition comes after you deliver these things. So what we do, honestly, I think I have to conclude here. What we do, honestly, with all those leadership at IGU, from top to bottom, from the front entry office to the manager, to the academic leadership, to faculty members, one thing I can comfortably say is that we try to put sincere effort. To me, sincere effort is much more important than the outcome. In other words, in America, we talk about, I'm sure Dr. Robinson will know, 2 things. We have effort and achievement, right? In public school, they use these two not interchangeably, but more often nowadays, the effort became more dominant indicator of the performance than the achievement. So you can put a lot of effort, but you may not get A. That's okay. What our step does at IGU is that we put sincere effort. Everybody is sincere at IGU. Sincerity in the sense that these students, these international students, or domestic students in general, doesn't matter. These students, their academic welfare is entrusted on us, is a trust on us. So when I go into classroom, I'm sure my colleagues are here, they'll testify that. When I go to every single classroom, sometimes jokingly, sometimes, I truly mean it. I say, hey, you are my boss. That's what I tell my student. I say, hey, you are my #1 stakeholder. My job is to serve you, all right? Not just other way around. Our job is to serve students. Of course, when I say serve in the context that reasonable request, right? Serve to their academic needs, serve to their other, coping or social issues. But one thing we never waver is that our relentless effort and our sincere effort towards their academic welfare. Our students' academic welfare is our #1 responsibility and honestly #1 objective on our table. I don't remember any meeting where we don't put students on at the center of our discussion table. So students come first at IGU, and therefore we say student first and foremost. We're a very small school compared to large school in this area. Therefore, as I said at the very beginning, we don't have the luxury to fail. We have to be successful. Being successful is only possible towards understanding student need. If I can understand my student need better, then I can serve him better. If I serve him better, then he becomes successful, school becomes successful. And as I said at the beginning, I'm going to conclude with that. We have 2 metrics to measure our success: retention, job placement. Are we retaining student? That's the first metric to measure our success. The second thing is, what is our job placement rate? Are we placing student to job related to education that they received from IGU? I think with that, I spoke probably too long. Oh, it's almost, so I'll stop here. I think this was this was probably the first series of the webinar. I think I felt the need to disclose a little bit more than maybe I should have discussed. I'll stop here unless there are questions. I'm sure we're waiting for Mr. Hanif, I guess. So,
I am,
Dr.
yes, I
Anas,
joined.
back to you.
Whenever there is a question time, I'm impatiently waiting to ask a couple of questions. Faizul Islam.
Awesome, Doctor. Sure. All right, Dr. Anas, back to you. You're muted. We're not able to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was on mute. Sorry. Well, first of all, this is really an enlightening talk. So can you hear me, everybody? Now? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yeah, we hear you.
First of all, let me thank Dr. Hassan Karabakh for such an eloquent presentation. I mean, I went to graduate school in the 80s. So a lot of these things I wish there were in my time. I had, personally speaking, had a lot of struggle. And a lot of times I felt that, personally speaking, the whole institution is not behind me. Nobody actually. So it's such a great presentation, and the students have a resource, supporting them in all aspects of education and career. This is nothing could be greater than such a good program. So our sincere thanks for Dr. Hassan Karabakh for sharing this eloquent presentation. We do have a few questions, but we'll come back. So please hold your thoughts.
Sure.
We all have some questions, and we thought we should start with our chief guest, Mr. Engineer Abubakar Hanif Bhai, and we see that he is present here now. So this program is being recorded. So if Hanif Bhai wish to give his message to this distinguished audience, the floor is his.
Yes, thank you very much. Basically, yes, I saw a portion of presentation of Dr. Hassan, and as you know, like the higher education, like we are in the higher education, and the reason we have that university, there is some great mission and vision behind that. And in USA, you will see by the time people finish their bachelor degree or master degree, they have $60,000-$70,000 student loan on their shoulder. With that, when they couldn't get job, that leads them to frustration. And second thing is, as a hiring authority of a company, like as a CEO, CTO, or hiring manager of a company, when someone is going to hire entry-level people, and then they need to utilize their resources to train them, to make them productive, to make them to be contributor 6 months, 1 year, and they will be paying their salary. And by the time they will be learning all those stuff, and then they will find that they lived for the better opportunity. So then the company that spend their money, effort and everything, they thought that there is no return on investment. As a result, they stop hiring entry-level people. So that is, if you go and then see Monster Dice, a career builder, there is no even single entry-level jobs, opportunities. Everyone is looking for experienced people. So that is second problem. Third problem is, in each and every year, you will see US government is bringing 85,000 skilled people from all over the world through H-1B, which is employment-based visa. But our citizen and green card holder who graduated, who has their bachelor and master, they couldn't find even job. They are looking for entry-level job, and return on investment is not there. So it is a serious problem. And that is the reason we come up with this university where each and every individual will be getting a job, starting with mid-level job. By the time they will be finishing their bachelor and masters. So the return on investment is there. And for that, each and every faculty has to have their professional practitioner. They have to be professional practitioner and in parallel with their, scholar. So our, all those faculty members are more than 4 years of experience to 30 years of experience. As a result, we are creating the replica of work environment in the classroom settings so that people can learn real life and then they can get the job right away. And that was the reason we were, coming up with that idea. And today's topic is like that, like a dynamic teaching learning methodology, enabling students starting job from their mid-level, and it is possible. So what Dr. Hassan is emphasizing, basically real life project-oriented way, the education. And recently we have an MOU with Amazon, and they said that they have 12 certifications. If someone have that at least 3 vendor certifications in parallel with their bachelor degree and master degree, they will consider them to hire. So, each and everything is skill matters. And this is what we are promoting because we gain that experience through another entity which is called People and Tech Institute of Information Technology, through which we place more than 7,000 people in the job. And we want to promote this methodology each and everywhere. And Dr. Anis Rahman, who is a very dedicated person, and promoting and then dedicating his time and effort towards the success of other people. And I really appreciate it. And we have Dr. Fazul is in here also. And he is also dedicating his time and effort everywhere, always. So I would request all of you, maybe you can donate some of your time and then dedicate some of your time and with us so that we can be successful helping others. And with that, I'm thanking each and everyone. And I am in Bangladesh right now. And basically, I thought I will be also, participating from my computer, laptop. Right now, just I'm in the mobile phone. But if you have any particular questions, definitely Dr. Hassan or me will be able to answer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if there's any questions, this session, I have questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, first of all. Thank you, our distinguished Chancellor of IGlobal University, Abubakar Hanif Bhai. He took all the trouble, still being in Bangladesh late in the night, participate in this program. So thank you very much for wonderful and inspiring speech. We obviously have a few questions to all of you, but I see that we are very fortunate to have distinguished faculty members of IGlobal University and elsewhere, Wahid Hussaini Bhai, Dr. Hamid Gupta, all of them. And also the NRB TV is broadcasting it in live. So if anyone else wish to, since we have some time at hand, we usually in this forum, what we do is we dedicate last half hour for open forum Q&A, and then we do the Q&A one at a time. So I know Fazul Bhai has very important questions. I myself have one question at least. But Dr. Robinson, Dr. Shen Cho, and others who are present here, if you wish to say something about iGlobal or your own endeavor, you are welcome to do so. How about Dr. Robinson to start with? Please unmute yourself.
Thank you
so much. You would think in this pandemic environment, we'd all be a master of unmuting ourselves, right? It's the number one New Year's resolution is to, hey, you're unmuted. But I did want to echo Dr. Hassan's comments about at least the School of Business. What we've been doing here is working feverishly to provide our students with some real world experiences, both in terms of soft skills and, critical on the job skills. So I came from a corporate background of ExxonMobil and Deloitte and Touche. So I bring a lot of that personal experience to the classrooms. But if anyone doing any searching today for jobs on either LinkedIn or Indeed.com, if you just type in the word Salesforce, you will see hundreds of jobs using that particular marketing, sales, and development tool. So we brought that into our marketing classes. We'll be unveiling some additional tools such as Tableau, which is one of these data visualization software programs. So we have a lot of interesting software tools to add. We will be adding to our curriculum, even though we're number one in project management. I'd like us to be number one in some additional disciplines, things like digital transformation, which is every company is going through that. I've created an MBA program for digital transformation. I've created an MBA program for management consulting, which is a lot of ways that new students get into the corporate world. Since iGlobal is located within a stone's throw of Washington, D.C., federal contracting with the federal government is trillions of dollars for industry, no matter if it's IT, business, whatever the discipline is. The federal government spends trillions of dollars every year with local and worldwide businesses. So we've created an MBA program for federal contracting. And then lastly, as Dr. Hassan spoke earlier, entrepreneurship is the key to any country's success, not just in this country, but all over the world. So I've created an MBA program for entrepreneurship. So in case students want to return to their home country, they'll be much more employable with either their bachelor's in business or MBA in business, and maybe creating those brand new businesses. Who knows where the next Bill Gates or Elon Musk is going to come from? It could be Bangladesh, it could be Morocco, could be Vietnam. We just don't know. So these are proposed MBA programs. We would need to get them approved. But I think as we continue to build out the School of Business, we do want to make it a center for bringing as many international and US-based students into the university. So happy to answer any questions anybody else may have.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. May we also ask Dr. Cho to say a few words before we go to the Q&A?
So, Dr. Anis, well, just one information, as you know, that we are intelligent.com actually recognized us as number one, for MBA program in project management. And what Dr. Robinson was saying, that we added Salesforce, PMP, Scrum Master. As a result, each and everyone is also getting jobs. That could be one of the reasons is doing it. Now, I have Mrs. Hanif in here. She is our CFO of IGlobal University. maybe we'll be hearing something from her, and then
Sure.
we will be leaving. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. So she's our, if I may just say one word, actually in original program, guest of honor was Mrs.
I'm so sorry. Please
Please go
accept
ahead.
my apology. Yeah. I'm so sorry not able to join at this moment because due to some emergency. So Assalamu alaikum everyone, and it's a very good opportunity. We would like to work with you, and as you know that IGlobal University and People and Tech, we always try to support our community, especially for the women. I am always available. So any kind of from our side, definitely I will try my best to support. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Looking forward to working with you. Again, please accept my apology, not able to continue. Thank you.
Wonderful. So let's go to the Q&A, but again, it's open forum. Hanifai, if you wish to add anything else, or should we go to the Q&A? Okay. So I know Fazil Bhai has some important question. I also see Dr. Sufyan Khanka here. So Fazil Bhai, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, at the very outset, let me thank you wholeheartedly for hosting this very important webinar. And I want to thank IGU for hosting this, providing us with this information. I want to reiterate what I've been saying to Hanif Bhai and Dr. Hassan, that I'm more than willing to provide advice to IGU. I have 4 decades of teaching experience in North America. So I can tell you where the shortcomings are and what are the successes. I have 2 questions in the interest of time. My first question is, when was IGU received accreditation in the past? How many years ago? And when will the next accreditation be? Which year? And the next question is, education is very competitive. So what advantage does IGU has over local universities? What single advantage? And what is your major number 1 challenge? Thank you.
Well, I can answer to that question. First, accreditation. IGU was established in 2008. Dr. Cho is here. Probably he will correct me if I say something. He's the main data and information repository person. So IGU was established in 2008. First time it was accredited by ACICS, which is another accredited entity back then was recognized by the Department of Education and no longer anymore. It was 2011, as far as I know. And then 2015, that was the first renewal through the same accrediting body. But in 2000, which we received our renewal. However, late in 2016, this ACICS had issues with Department of Education, and Department of Education terminated their recognition as an accrediting entity. And then all those small career schools were given 18 months to find another accrediting body to save the university. So then I joined the board later 2016, early 2017, and with the team together, we were the first university, I think it's still the only university in the entire East Coast that successfully completed the transition from ACICS, which is the troubling entity, to the new one. We call it ACCSC, that's another career school national accrediting agency. We completed that transition within 12 months, less than the statutory deadline. The statutory deadline was the 18 months. So we completed that transition, and by March, right, Dr. Cho? March 2018, I think we were accredited again. So then we had 4 years, and this year, 2022, March, our accreditation is up to renewal. We already submitted our self-study back in October, And now we're waiting for the final visits anytime happen. So that's the history. So since 2011, so almost 12 years, school has continuously been accredited, and we have no issues with the accreditation. I think that's for accreditation. The second piece is that what makes us unique. I think what makes us unique is that our notion is student first. At IG, we don't have appointment system. In other words, we have appointment system, but student comes first. Unless I'm meeting with another student, we never ask student wait. If you look at our business card, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you looked at it. You will see one thing. You will see our personal cell phone numbers. Did you look at my business card, Dr. Ennis? If you look at my business card.
Sure, I have your card. Sure,
if you look at my business card, we put our own personal cell phone. Dr. Prim is here. He receives phone calls all the way from Bangladesh, from, I don't know, Ghana in Africa, whatever, at 3 a.m. in the morning. He received text messages at 3 a.m. in the morning. So what makes us unique, I think, is that our feeling, as I said earlier, our conscious effort to put student at the center of everything. We became student-centered organization. Everything we do, nothing else. Everything we do, we put student at the center of everything. All right. Of course, every other university will say the same thing, but no, it's really from financial practices, all the academic, student services, staff member Dr. Prim and Dr. Robinson, Dr. Cho will testify. Recently, we created a new center called Center for Student Success. Starting this, 2 weeks ago, we established that center. We already appointed one staff member as a full-time. So we put student academic welfare as our top priority. And among other things that make us different from the other competitor in school, number one, there's no competitor. let me tell you this. Why? Because we're the only school that has rock solid accreditation. All other schools, they're still stuck with their previous accrediting entity, and previous accrediting entity is still in court with Department of Education. They're not anymore recognized by the Department of Education. So I don't want to name all those local competitors because this meeting is being recorded as far as I know. That's my business.
What's the major challenge?
And another piece of information is, like, when people finish their bachelor degree and master degree, basically they earn their degree, and then also they are getting only academic knowledge. As a result, they have to look for entry-level job. But in our university, we are adding industry knowledge, skill, experience, and we are helping them to gain soft skill, and then obviously confidence of working, confidence of delivery, so that they can look for a job from the mid-level to senior level. And this is what make us different from other, because last 15 years, this is what we were exercising through another entity which is called People and Tech. And we are integrating that piece into the university. So we are creating the replica of work environment in the classroom settings. And that will be making us different than others.
What's the major challenge you're facing? The single major challenge you're facing?
Single major challenge that I'm facing is our facility. We outperformed in every number, student number, faculty number, staff number. We max out now, and then our number one challenge is the facility. Other than that,
right now, this quarter, we have 113 students got the visa from Bangladesh. 113 just January quarter, and last quarter, the quarter that we finished, 28 students got visa from Bangladesh. So basically, it is now a building, but we are looking for a big campus where we can serve international students, and most likely we will be serving local students, domestic students, and then also US veterans, because we are accredited by Veterans Affairs. So that is actually right now our number one challenge of expanding or going to the big campus.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for the question. It was a good question. Any more question?
Sure, I think there are more questions.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, please, Haris bhai, go ahead.
Thank you for inviting me. It is a wonderful subject we are discussing. You are discussing today. If I am not wrong, I believe I heard that there is a no competitor of this school on the accreditation basis. Are you considering it as a trade school, or are you considering it as a about the whole university system of the United States?
No. It's like no competitor means local area. He was meaning like
local area. You have George Washington, Georgetown. They are not your competitor, as you say. If I may. So they are not equivalent to you. They are less than your organization. If you are suggesting like that, I have a significant issue on that. Number two.
Well, we would allow Hanif bhai to answer your question.
Yeah. Okay. Number two is, as you know, I wrote a book on the student loan issue. Recently, it was published, and it was one of the top-ranking sellers in Amazon. What I have found, if I go and check, that the student who are supposed to finish their undergraduate education from an educational institute of higher learning, usually it's supposed to take 4 years. But unfortunately, it is taking about 5 or 5.5 years in normal universities in the United States. And also, if I go for OECD publications, which is a Organization for Economic Development and Cooperation, which compares the education system of the world, especially to the OECD country members, they said that our education, US education system, except for several universities, they are of course top in the world. On an average, their skill is much lower than other countries. For example, they put it in 2017 that US graduates who are graduating from the 4 years educational institution, their skill level is little higher than the Finland high school graduates. Listen, Finland high school graduates. It is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Developments, they are reported. And how you are differing from other universities of the United States. What is your main goal to rectify these type of problems US is facing, which is facing due to the politics and other business issues? That is my question.
Thank you, Haris bhai. Let's listen to from Hanif bhai and Dr. Hassan. Hanif bhai, please.
Yeah, Dr. Hassan, maybe you can answer portion of it and then I can add it.
Sure. The first thing, of course, we're not near to comparing ourselves with Georgetown or George Mason, those big schools. Some of them are what we call land-grant universities. They're seeing enormous state funding. They're seeing enormous endowment fund. We're not anywhere even being close to discussing whether we're competing with these schools. I merely was pointing out those private universities, small private like Stratford, like, I don't want to say, but there's 6, 7 in 10-mile radius. These universities, they're stuck with ACICS, which is the troubled accrediting entity. They're the one they lost. For example, Stratford had 6 campuses, 2 in Maryland, I think 4 in Virginia, and then with the headquarters here in Route 7, they had 6, 7 campuses. Now they shuttered all the campuses. They consolidated all the operation in one single building in Alexandria. And there are a few other universities that I had previously worked as their leader, so I'm not here to discuss their names, but those are the small schools that I was referring to earlier. The second question about the student receiving Title IV funding and completing bachelor degree and graduating with a skill that is par with the high school graduates in Finland. Okay, the challenge with this in higher education spectrum is everybody's responsibility. So everybody do their own part. public universities has to do their own part. We have to do our own part. So what we're doing in our part, exactly realizing the same issue that IGU partner with People and Tech. And also, I'm not sure whether you join my presentation, but I mentioned about a couple of platforms that we constantly listen to the industry, receive feedback from industry, and then get back to kitchen and revise our program. So we have at IGU, because we're a career school, our focus is career, right? Remember I said the success in our school has two metrics. One, retention, the other is placement. So placement is so important for us, job placement. So to have my student have the maximum job placement, what I did, I have these program advisory committees. These are the subject matter experts from the field. They bring all those industry knowledge, industry feedback. They tell us about emerging trends in industry. Then Dr. Robinson and Professor Paul, as the two directors in the school, they go back to kitchen. They have what we call CRC, Curriculum Review Committee. They revise their curriculum in a way that we become still relevant with the industry. That's one side. And then in partnership with People and Tech, as I said again earlier, during the last quarter of the study, we put these students to skill development training program through People and Tech. So they're finishing their last quarter at IGU. At the same time, depending on their appetite, depending on their field of interest, we put them through skill development training through People and Tech. So when they graduate, they have academic requisite knowledge and also some hands-on skills that they will become productive staff tomorrow when they are hired. So back to the question, every school, Ivy League, public, private, small, big, every school, they have to do their own part. They have to focus on career. Yes, as Dr. Robinson said, we never know who will be the next Elon Musk, whether it could be from Bangladeshi international students studying at IGU. There's no, how to say, future has all those surprises and beauty and blessings. So therefore, our job, as you know, what Mr. Hanif and we're doing is that we have this strong relationship between IGU and People and Tech, and we put our students through skill development. At least that's something that we're doing. At least that's the realization. That's the acknowledgement that our students need hands-on training. In general, students need hands-on training, right? That's the recognition of that deficiency, Doctor.
So let me add you something. Let me add you something. So engineer Mr. Haris, he has a lots of contribution towards our community, and he was also leading this organization, AABEA. So we have lots of respect to him, and he raised a very solid, valid question. And let me ask you, what is our philosophy? Right now, since we just did the acquisition on this university, so as a result, students were like first year, second year, third year, now they are in the fourth year. So we did not have time to groom them from the first year, right? So as a result, we are merging them. We are giving them another opportunity to develop their skill from People and Tech, and we charge $5,000. But since they are our IGU student, we are not charging that $5,000. We are giving them opportunity to learn, to develop their skill. As a result, we are helping them getting a job. So that is now short term. But in the long term, what we are doing is, the people who enroll from the first year, we are integrating that skill development piece from the first year. So as a result, we don't need to give them last year like People and Tech. People and Tech doesn't need to. So we are integrating. For example, let me give you one example. Let's say traditional university, they will be learning Java. If they learn Java, they will be learning only some syntax, some little programming. But when you will be giving them to work on Java application fully, they will not be able to do it. That's why they need to start with entry-level job. But in our case, we will be developing the application for Java, so then they will be learning the syntax, programming, and then debugging, and then they will know how to utilize that tool with other utilities, how to put those things in production, how to integrate with the database. So full application development experience they will be gaining. As a result, they will be able to implement it, and they will be able to be contributor from the first day when they will be getting a job. So that is our goal. And this is what we are going to exercise from the first year students. So that will be making us different. As a result, we very soon we will be we will be giving them tuition guarantee. So no job, no tuition. It means whatever $50,000-$60,000 they will be paying for their first for their bachelor degree, or $22,000 for their master degree. If they will not be getting a job, we will be returning their money. Like that kind of challenge we'll be giving. That will be making us different. Thank you.
Wonderful thing. May I ask one part of these things? Are you in compliance with the President Obama's gainful employment opportunities? Are you reporting according to the law?
Dr. Hassan, I think it's a very solid question also, and that will be also helpful. So can you answer that?
Oh yeah, it's called public disclosure, Doctor.
Right,
Part of our accreditation, we have to disclose these numbers anyway. It's basically what you're referring to, this placement rate for each program, and as well as retention. So it's on our website. It's a requirement for all accrediting bodies. We have to disclose it, and we do it. Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, well, wonderful. Actually, see, if you are talking about MIT or a school like that, there is significant suicide rate that we don't talk about. Now at IGU, each and every student is a subject, and the whole institution is after them. So, even this matter alone makes a big difference, because when a student know that they are being nurtured, they are being supported, it's a big deal for them. When, at bigger universities, students are lost, they don't know what's going on. I am personally, subject to my son, who actually dropped off of a big school, and he didn't know what was going on. So, that's one thing is so different here at IGU. Anyone else has any other question? Please feel free to ask.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. This is Faisal Kader. I'd like to congratulate my good friend, Mr. Abu Hanif, and Dr. Robinson, Dr. Hassan. What you are doing is you're changing everybody's lives. Like you're like giving the opportunity. You're changing people's lives, making them marketable, and believe me, this is unbelievable deed what you've been doing. One quick request. I run a technical company, engineering company. What we're having issues with so-called good students that are coming out of universities from engineering schools are they're top-notch technologists. However, as far as soft skills are concerned, I mean, they lack their writing skills, which is really, really important, and they also lack their communication skills. So if you give them a task to do, like a application development in a cubicle, and they will do a top-notch work, but I cannot bring them in front of the customer, which is very important. So I request the management and the university authority to focus on the soft skills as well, which is very, very important. Thank you.
Can I make a comment there? This is Dr. Robinson. Thank you so much. That's a great question. And I'm glad you asked it, because in many of our school of business classes, even though the students are considered individual learners, we do put them in teams of fellow students. So for a marketing course, we might say, okay, take a company like Uber and bring it to Hanoi in Vietnam, right? And the idea of them working as a team solicits all kinds of ideas about how to approach a market outside of their home country. So number one, we do a lot of teaming team projects in our classes. Number two, as you correctly stated, many students, many of us probably prefer or like to work in our own office or our own cubicle, but you are correct. If you're a marketing director and you have a new product you want to market, you've got to convince the leadership to award you the amount of money that it's going to take to market this new product or service. So we make students in every class practice their PowerPoint skills. I know there's that old saying, death by PowerPoint. However, you are correct. We do need to force students to speak in front of an audience. And that's one of the ideas that Dr. Hassan and I put together for the IGU Shark Tank. They would need to come up with an idea. They need to be able to put together a 5 to 10 minute presentation before a panel of judges, which are really some of the professors from the School of Business. So we teach them how to be convincing, how to gain the influence, how to persuade the leadership team that what you are presenting has been vetted throughout the organization and it has been well researched. So you're correct. It's hard to bring, it's a challenge to bring first year or first term MBA students to understand the huge opportunity and skill that's involved in presenting to an executive team. But we practice that now, but we're going to make it even more a part of our curriculum. That's a great question. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent.
I'd like to piggyback a little bit. I'm sharing my screen. This is called Skill USA Framework. The reason why I'm sharing this is that this is exactly how we design our course syllabus. Each course is eventually filtered through these 3 skill sets: personal skills, workplace skills, and technical skill grounded in academics. Again, I don't have my the curriculum booklet in front of me, but every single course syllabus at the end of the day goes through these 3 checkpoints. We make sure that we added certain personal skills. We make sure that we added certain workplace skills that is demanded by the workplace. And of course, being an academic institution, we have to make sure that there are technical skills grounded in academic teaching and learning. So this is the skill. This is a very popular program in America. It's called Skill USA. Almost all those career schools, they're using the same framework as a tunnel through process. That's how we go through the filtration. So as we develop curriculum and then after you develop curriculum, of course, you develop a course syllabus. Once you develop course syllabus, then we make sure that we have these 3 different skill sets addressed in the syllabus. Therefore, during the weekly exercises, we have group presentation, personal presentation, writing skills, and then debating skills. A lot of skills we built into the weekly activities that is certainly coming from this Skill USA framework. So that's how we address the challenges in the workplace.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good.
Wonderful. And thanks, Faisal, for the very important questions. By the way, Faisal Kadir is the president of Central Executive Committee of AABEA. So he is currently the head, actually. And we also have Mizan Rahman over here. Mizan Bhai is the president of the local chapter, Washington, D.C. I see Wahed Hosseini Bhai has a question. He has raised hand. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much for giving me this chance. I am very interested to know about the finance. And I have heard several times that if you don't get a job, you don't pay the tuition. How it works, how the students start paying and when they finish it.
No, basically, we said that like right now we have 50% scholarship for the first quarter, 50% scholarship for the first quarter. From the second quarter, there are 30% merit-based scholarship. And on top of that, we have $1 million scholarship for 2022. It means whoever has like golden A plus, like, whoever will be coming from Bangladesh, for example, if they have 4.0 GPA to 5.0 GPA, then they can get 50% to 100% scholarship. So that way they can come. But I said that the way we are establishing our model, soon we will be able to declare no job, no tuition grantee. Means tuition grantee will be there. It's not yet right now, but soon we'll be able to do it. It means we know we'll be able to place each and every student that we will be enrolling.
Okay, so Dr. Hassan, do you wish to add anything?
Oh yeah, to make it maybe a little bit more clear than what Mr. Hanif said, I think the idea, as I said at the very beginning of my presentation, the idea, behind this no job, no tuition idea is to appeal primarily to the domestic population. F1 students, these international students, they're here on a visa, so they're not readily employable. Of course, they'll become employable, as I said, during the CPT, OPT process. Especially getting STEM OPT gives them 3-year work window, and it's good time for any standard human being to establish whether the person is viable for the company or not. But basically how it works, how Mr. Hanif and we think will work eventually. We don't have that program yet. Remember, I said we will implement that program once we move to our new campus. So we're moving with the new campus. We'll have a big building, so moving to the new campus, of course, will bring a set of challenges. One of the challenges, which I think it's a good challenge to tackle with, is to appeal to the domestic population. We have enough international students. We're good at it. We love it, right? But we have to diversify that. So in an effort to diversify our student population, we would like to sincerely appeal to domestic population. So one way to appeal to domestic population, as you know, we're very much money sensitive. They like to see what is the return on their investment. So what basically we're trying to tell them is that, hey, come to us, get your education. If you pay any money, okay, if you pay any money, once you graduate within 12 months, if you fail to get your job, we'll refund your money. So there's nothing to lose, but to gain a lot, right? So you get your education, and then whatever you get a job 13 months, that's okay. You got a job, plus you get your money back. It's a good thing, right? So that's something unique that no other school did it, as far as I know, in the history of this Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. area. So this will be the first, we will be the first university bringing something like this. Actually, let me tell you something. I'm also serving what we call this advisory committee, regulatory committee in the state of Virginia. There's an agency, state agency called SHEV. SHEV was contemplating something called Tuition Guarantee Fund. Actually, they were thinking about mandating universities maintaining certain funds, like an escrow account outside, in case something happens during the operation. School would be guaranteeing a refund for the full refund for the student. So what Mr. Hanif and I were thinking is exactly the same mechanics. So if we're so comfortable with our education, we're so comfortable with our services and quality of education that we guarantee you that if you fail to get your job, we'll refund your money. So as we speak, that's a project. We're thinking about it. Of course, a lot of people will get involved eventually, before we hit the start button. But that's another thing that will make us different from other universities.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I have another small thing to add.
Let's hear from Elvis. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? Well, my name is Ndongo Nyanjui, a student at IGlobal. I'm taking MSIT. And maybe a side note, my stay here has been graced with kindness and competency from my lecturers. Thank you, IGlobal. And first, I would like to compliment your achievements in the last 14 years. Your affordability and acceptability rate is quite commendable. And as I would have it, it is a genius market strategy. Well, prospectively speaking, the student population, if this is the trend, will grow quite exponentially. However, being an African, specifically from Kenya, I feel that the African market has not been exploited that much. And this is so because I feel I'm speaking for thousands of Africans who are able to afford your quality and affordable education. Therefore, this is not a question, but a commendation, or which I would rather throw out there. I would want to encourage your team to conduct a rigorous popularity campaign in Africa, and in so doing, work on the availability of your hostelry facilities, because I noticed it is a problem. When I arrived, I was not able to secure a place. Thank you.
Elvis, well, thanks for the good feedback. I think I'd like to hear more from your own personal experience as an African student. During the any weekday, please feel free to stop by. I know we have COVID. While keeping social distancing, I'd like to have a coffee with you, okay?
Okay, so may I ask one more question?
Your question.
Yeah, my question is that since this is accredited school, the U.S. citizens and permanent residents, do they have the ability to get the federal loan, federal student loan? You have?
Of course, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other question from anyone?
Basically, we are a Title IV school. As a result, people are getting the financial aid, and then also we are a veterans approved institute, so that we, military people can, utilize the GI Bill so that it can cover their tuition fee also. We are accredited both on campus and online. Plus also, as I said, that financial aid, Title IV, GI Bill, all are approved.
Excellent. Actually, as I said, I have been teaching for 4 decades and I've taught in so many universities. Currently, I'm teaching at 3. University of Maryland Global Campus, University of Arizona Global Campus, and Columbia Southern University. So all 3 of them have military students, and that is where the money is. But one thing I've observed in these 3 places, you have to make your schedule very flexible, okay? So I have students they cannot tell where they are. They're on the war field. They cannot tell a specific area, but just tell me that for next 24 hours, I will not be able to have the access to the network. So we have, as instructors, we have to be accommodative. So what I'm trying to say to you, and if you invite me in any of your brainstorm meeting, so I would have said this, that in order to recruit meaningfully, military students who will bring GI dollars, which is a lot of money, university has to make the schedule very flexible. Yeah.
Correct. We have that flexibility since I think 2016. We started with a system called Populi. It's both SIS and LMS, and then we moved to Canvas. It's a popular learning management system. Some of our faculty members, they deliver their classes synchronous, and even its synchronous lessons are recorded for students to later log into the system and watch it, rewatch it, and then everything, all those learning materials, including Zoom sessions or GoToMeeting sessions, everything is being recorded and kept in the central learning management system. As you said, a student might be flying on a business trip or a military draft, whatever. As long as they have internet, once they settle, they can access it 24/7.
Thank you all very much. We also have Muhammad Asadujaman, president of AABEA at the Silicon Valley chapter. Asad bhai, you want to say hello to everyone? I don't know if he's listening. All right. Let's, I think we spend our time very well. This has been really, really a good webinar. I think so far we had so many good webinars from AABEA last year. This one was the very first of this 2022. So we have a really good starting webinar. And we hope to have more down the road on maybe a different topic and maybe a different setting, but with the collaboration with IGEU, we hope to keep on going. This is just the beginning, and we hope to see more and more interaction and collaboration with AABEA and IGEU in the coming months. So with that, I thank you all for your time. If you wanna say any last word, please do so now.
So, on behalf of IGlobal University, Dr. Hassan and me and our all other team members definitely will be with every time with AABEA, because AABEA is a non-profit organization and good leadership are always there, and you are donating your time, spending your time for the betterment of the community, and we will be always with you anytime, anywhere. And even if you want to utilize our facility, just let us know. It will be a phone call away. We want to be with all the time with you, and we like all of your leadership. Very good leaders are here. They always, participated for the good cause, like Dr. Faisal and all those engineers, like my favorite person, Engineer Haris, plus Anis Rahman. We are learning from you, actually, from your leadership, because every time you are spending time with them, for the benefit of those people who wants to elevate themselves. We salute you, we appreciate you. And then Dr. Faisal, every time running here and there and putting his time and effort. So you are our good example, good leaders in front of us. Thank you very much. And lastly, we'll be asking your cooperation. I don't want to say that this is my university, this is our university, and we need to build it. Thank you.
One last thing.
Faisal, you want to make an announcement for the biennial convention?
Yes. I was about to do that, actually. So hopefully pandemic will cooperate with us. So our largest biennial convention for AABEA would be held in October 7, 8, and 9. That's upcoming. This is one of the largest events that we do across North America. People from all over the country, all over the world comes in. So I like to invite IGlobal University. I'm going to give you a big forum, a big platform. So let's work together and make it a big success. And it's going to be a great opportunity to expand, our upcoming students to encourage and enroll into IGlobal University and be benefited for that.
Where is the venue? What's the venue?
The venue is being reviewed. I don't want to crack the research that we have been doing. There's a good possibility, Faisal Bhai, that we may end up doing it in Gaylord Hotel. But again, not sure yet. We have been looking at different venues, and we'll make a decision in the next couple of weeks. So you'll be in touch, and you'll know.
Okay. Great job. Yeah. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, so we come to the end, and any last strike? If not,
thank you.
Thank you all for your participation.
My recommendation for this global university, IGlobal, since you are doing the students who are studying there, if they can get hands-on work experience as you are doing, you are teaching there. You might have some projects you are getting from other entities to deliver. If you can use these students to develop those things or develop the work on those projects, they will get hands-on experience, and that will take your university to the big way, to the next success. Because you will not find any other institutions who are doing that. We from AABEA, we initiated a project about 20 years ago. We requested the Bangladesh government that we need to, if you like to develop IT sector, you need to give the government project to some companies and our students should work there. And if you can make such a collaboration with Bangladesh government, it will be great thing, because you need Bangladeshis to bring from the country outside for the better opportunity of the nation. That is my only recommendation. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I think it's a great recommendation, and I really appreciate it. And we'll be, putting our effort towards it.
Okay. Thank you all.
One quick thing. Faisal bhai, you were saying about Gaylord. Yes, the Fobana was the budget was $600,000. So AABEA engineers are filthy rich. I think they can do it at Gaylord.
No, I can tell you for a fact that our budget is not that high, but we will put together a very, excellent, effective seminar for sure.
I would just mention that AABEA is rich but not filthy.
So exactly. That's why I was going to respond that one. So we are a decent person, Fazil bhai, not filthy.
Okay, so
anyway, with that, I thank you, and let's plan. We have a really great plan for the next webinar. We have lined up a really big legend from Bangladesh, and soon you will know who he is, and he will be talking about quantum mechanics to nanotechnology and a lot of other things. So it's gonna be a really interesting talk, the next one. And once I finalize it, I'll share with each and everyone.
Thank you. So, all right, we can leave now, right? Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you, Anis bhai and AABEA.